you created this new identity of leaving a legacy and start thinking of, and stepping into that role and that identity as a leader, and that your mission is going to now be to help other people replicate the level of success you had for themselves.
And not get attached to it, because you know what, even if you have, you know, one or 10 or 50 properties, you know, it doesn't matter. It's who you are, you know, it's you, it's not the things that we have. And that's again another lesson that I've learned from early on. It's not like, you know, I was poor and I saw the rich, and it's like, you know, there are as human as we were, and you know, not just because one has more money than another means that they're better, not at all. So it just really going deeper into who you are internally and being okay with this. Honestly, like, all things could go bad and still okay. I'm still okay, because as long as you have one thing, and that is health, and you're a very big advocate about that, and I know you're all about health, it's that's what's something that we can't really buy. No matter how much money you have, you cannot buy health, or you cannot you know, get that back. So that's like, for me, health is the most important thing in life, and then there's all these other things that are on top of it.
Mm-hmm. That's a good segue into the state of the situation that we're in today. Talking about COVID-19, one of the reasons I wanted to have a chat with you is to ask you what are you experiencing in the industry? How, maybe let's start with, how has the market been affected?
Very much so, almost to a point where I wouldn't say standing still, because there's still some activities, but very, very little activities compared to what we would have been having right now at this time, because this is the spring, and spring usually is the highest season when it comes to selling and buying in the whole year. But there's a little bit of activities, but not much. So there is a huge shift.
What do you think is going to come out of it in the next maybe 1 to 2 years?
Yeah, I think that there's going to be a lot of changes, Jillian, first of all. And most important is that those that are dabbling in the market will be out of the market, because those realtors that only sell 2, 4, 6 houses cannot really survive, you know, just only doing this. You either need to be all in or not, you know, not like just only dabbling in it, because there's a lot of part-time realtors in the market. So we will see a lot of those people will be getting out of the real estate business. So it's two things. Part of me is very sad, because I know that there's going to be a lot of people that will lose their properties. They can't afford maybe the payments anymore, or they lose a job, or something, you know, is going to happen economically to their well-being, and then they're going to lose a property. And maybe even some investors, those that are very or extremely leveraged, also they will end up start to sell, you know, properties. But on the other side, I see huge opportunity. I mean, we already know that usually after any recession, that's what most people make money. So there will be a lot of opportunities for those that have cash. And then, you know, you hear the words that always they say cash is king, and I've changed that to say cash is queen now, you know. Cash is queen right now, just female. But anyone that has cash right now, especially if you're a first home buyer or you're an investor, there's going to be great opportunities for people to get into the market at a really good deals. We will see a downturn in the market 100%. We don't know how much, whether it's going to be 10%, 20%, God knows, but there will be some, you know, downturn, and we will, yeah, and there will be more opportunities for those that have some cash. Unfortunately, for those that don't, things are going to be just a little bit harder.
Any advice for like the landlords, or even people that host Airbnb, to minimize losses?
Yeah, those are actually being hit. The only Airbnb area that's really doing well is actually Ottawa, because Ottawa, they have a lot of government officials, they have a lot of people still traveling in and out of the city, so their Airbnb is doing phenomenally well. Otherwise, everybody's at a full stop. I would say that the first thing that you need to do is that don't panic, because panic is not going to get you anywhere. You know, don't like go, oh my gosh, you know what, I gotta sell right now, I gotta get out of this right now, and whatever. Just relax for a little bit until this emergency state leaves, and then we can kind of like look at the market and then decide what is the best option, you know, for all of us. Because this is not a normal recession, this is not a normal situation. We're all in it, all the investors are in the same situation. It's funny because A lot of investors were worried that they were not going to get rent April 1st. Yet all of my tenants paid rent April 1st. None of them did not pay. And even some of the investors that I work with, they say that maybe 10% or 20% did not pay. Most people are still paying. This is not really, it's not now that we need to panic. It's maybe if it's 4 months or 6 months from now, and then now you're not able to hold, you're not able to look after the properties, that's when you go, okay, what else can I do with what I've got right now? And then there will, if you start thinking creatively, and if you start thinking of maybe ways to deal with this, then answers will start showing up. And I give a lot of updates on my Facebook lives. I bring in like people from the mortgage industry, from the property management, from Airbnb, and all kinds of, whoops, um, sorry, one of my investors, I actually thought that this was closed. You see that they all call me, but we give a lot of advice from how everybody's seeing it from different angles. And right now, I would say just don't panic. Yeah, just stay still. Everything is going to be okay. Believe that no matter how bad it is, it's going to still be okay.
Yeah.
Surrounding yourself with the right people that, like I said, be part of a group that empowers you instead of you falling into your fears. You have to be very, very protective about what you really put and listen to, because if you're going to go into this downward of like fear, then it's going to create even worse economy for everyone, not just only for them. Because if everybody right now is thinking, oh, we all going to sell our houses, and they go into this panic mode, then it's just going to create a bigger crash than what it needs to.
It's not a healthy state to operate from in the first place. How about for people that are in a bit of a leveraged position? Is there a way they can help to mitigate damage, to maybe even communicate with the lenders and whatnot?
Yes, that's what I would do. Is that if you have properties right now, is a great time to go back to your mortgage broker and see if you can, pull up more money to buy more properties when something comes up for sale, but not to over leverage, because that's what I want investors to know, is that not to over leverage, because when you over leverage, then you put yourself at a risk, so always keep it where, you're good. And you've got this extra money, only if you need it, you can tap into it, and you can get a line of credit on the property itself. So yeah, or refinance. So there's a lot of options. In fact, right now, mortgage brokers are so busy because of this option. A lot of people are refinancing or putting line of credits on their properties and, changing things. Yeah.
Right.
So definitely, I would say consider that.
Okay. How about for tenants as a landlord? What advice do you have for them if perhaps they're worried about making rent? Maybe some of them have difficult landlords.
If you can pay your rent, because this shall pass. And you know what? If you're trying to take advantage of the landlord and just say, I'm going to be in it just like everybody else, it's not really helping anybody, because you just remember, we're all in this little circle together. Because if everybody does not pay, then it just becomes worse for the owners, worse for everybody. It just, kind of tumbles down for everybody. So if you can, and you have the money, or you're getting money, then just pay your landlord. Even if you pay them half of what you normally pay, then that's fine. And talk to them, have an open conversation, and tell them, what can you do for me? And are you going to be okay with this amount? Because just remember that landlords, they still need to pay their mortgage and their taxes and their insurance and all of these expenses. So try and see if you can, create something that would be win-win for both of you for a short term or for a short while.
Have you heard of that happening? Is that happening where people are taking advantage of the eviction suspension?
Yes, there are people that are actually, in fact, there are some tenants that are saying, don't pay or whatever. They're coming out with like, don't pay your landlords, which is really, I wanted to say that not everybody's like that. Those are the small group of people, or, the bad apple in the basket that people are concentrating on. And even in my community, I kept saying, don't think about those people, because there's a lot of good people. And then even though there is also some people, they say even rental market is a standstill, but there are some investors that are still renting their properties. So there is still some sort of activities, and maybe not a lot like compared to usual, but there are still some going on. And always just think of the positive. And that's, again, if you have that poor me mentality and you think you're going to take advantage of people, something, it's not a healthy thing to be thinking, because you don't know who else is going to maybe bring that back at you, right? So if you are being fair, if you're in a hardship, just say, I'm in a hardship and I can't really pay you. and what can I do to make it up for you, or how can I help you otherwise? But if you can't give, and if you can only give 1,000 versus 2, give 1,000 versus 2. Like at the end of the day, like I say, you know, very, very important thing is to protect your mindset, to really start building yourself, even learning while you're sitting, you know, in this time. And also to try and have an open communication with others, even relationships. I believe that relationship is the most important asset anyone could ever have. You know, it's those people that you can maybe go to and just being honest and being upfront and tell them, and you will know if people are lying or not.